Now, let's look at a different example. All right, it's very similar to the previous question, but this time we are not finding the area. This time we are finding the perimeter. All right, now what's a perimeter over here? Okay, now perimeter is defined as the total length of the boundary. All right, the total length of the boundary. What's that? Okay, now let's take a look at this shape. All right, when we talk about boundary, we are talking about its boundary lah. All right, its boundary means all the length outside. Okay, now I'm gonna use my red pen to draw out the boundary so you can visually see where's all the boundary. All right, now this is not included because that's inside. Okay, so the boundary is gonna be, all right, let me start from here. It's gonna be from here, 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 all right. The one I draw in red, that's my boundary. Boundary means outside lah. Huh? So if I were to draw this line, that's not my boundary because it's inside. Okay, so let me erase that. Okay, so if I'm interested to find this, so all I need to do is to add up all these numbers. Okay, now let's see. All right, now when we want to do this, let's do it in a systematic way, so we will make sure that we do not miss out any numbers. So let's try out. So I'm going to start from here and I'm just going to go clockwise. All right, I'm going to go around. So let's see what's going on. Huh? So first I have this, that's my first boundary, is the total length over here. So I'm going to write this down. So that is going to be 5, 1 over 12, right? And I'm going to go up now, and this is going to be add with this one. So 3, 2 over 3. And then I'm going to go up over here, and this is going to add up with this one. So this is going to be 1, 3 over 4, right? And then I am supposed to add with this one, okay? Now I'll use my blue marker. I will call this as x lah, huh? Okay? Now if you notice, my x is missing over here, right? But with the information from the diagram, it is enough for me actually to find what's x, all right? So to find x, it is actually this length subtract with this length, right? Okay, if I take this length and subtract this length, I will get the remainder, which is going to be x, okay? So I'm going to write that down. So since I use blue pen, I'm going to write this as blue. So I'm going to add, I'm going to put a bracket over there. X is going to be 3, 2 over 3 minus 2, 5 over 6. Close back my bracket, okay? And then what's next? All right, I have done here, 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 and here. Now I'm here now. But again, very similar to x, there's nothing over there. All right, so I'm going to have my black pen. I'm going to label this. I'm going to call this y right now. All right, so how do we find y over here? Again, based on the diagram, we have enough information to find the value of y, which is going to be this whole length, subtract with this, okay? I will get the balance, which is going to be y, right? So I'm going to write this down with my black pen. So I'm going to add with this, I'll put a bracket over there. So 5, 1 over 2 minus 1, 3 over 4. Okay, now I'm done with this part. And then finally, I have reached here. And I'm going to add up with the final side, which is this one. Okay, which is going to be plus 2, 5 over 6. Okay? Now, we have input all the length for all the boundaries of this diagram. Let's double check, right? We go clockwise again. So we have this one, we have this one, we have this one, we have the x value, we have the y value, and we have the final one. All right? Okay, this is the final. We do not add back this one. This is the final already. We start from this, we end with this. Okay? Now, all we have to do next is to use our calculator to calculate this. But I have some advice for you all. When we are doing this, don't punch in all these numbers straight away in your calculator, because it's a very long process and it's very prone to error. So let's do this step by step, shall we? So what I'm going to do is because it's an addition, I'm going to add up all these things first, okay? And I'm going to add up this separately, and I will leave this alone lah, okay? So I want to do everything systematically first, all right? So let's start with the red one first. Okay, so let's do this. Now, as you are putting in the value in your calculator, please always double check you input the number correctly, okay? Because again, all these are a lot of numbers. It's very easy to mistype the number. So always double check you put in all the correct numbers. Okay, so these three numbers add together from my calculation. This will be 10, 1 over 2. Now I'm going to do the blue one right now. So that is going to be, okay. So always double check your numbers. Make sure you input everything correctly. So the blue one is going to add 5 over 6, okay. Now I'm going to do the black one over here. So very similarly, I'm going to input everything in my calculator. Double check the values, make sure it's correct. And then I'm going to add with 3 over 4. And finally, this guy over here. So I'm just going to write back this guy lah. Alright. Now, alright, I am doing this. Now my fraction looks a bit shorter, so I can do this one shot right now. Okay? Right. So now I have all these values in. I'm just going to key all this in my calculator now. So I have 10, 1 over 2, plus 5 over 6, plus 3 over 4, plus 2, 5 over 6. Again, always double check what have you input in your calculator, because this step, it's very easy to make careless mistake, alright? So once you punch in everything correctly, double check everything correctly, and this should sum up to 17, 11 over 12, okay? So that's the parameter of this shape over here, this compound shape over here, okay? Now, let's try out this one, okay? Now for this question, you can also do the same thing over here. You can do clockwise, all right? You can take this, add, and add, all right? But I'm going to show you a slightly quicker way, because we can do something about this. But first, let's identify where's the parameter. So I'm going to draw out the boundary right now, so you can visualize, all right? And see where are all the boundary. Alright, so the one I draw in red, so that's the boundary of this shape. Again, this line is not counted because it's inside, right? Now, let's calculate this, okay? So again, perimeter, I just have to add all the lengths, alright? But if you notice in this diagram, they have multiple same lengths. So let's identify them. So I have this length over here, which is 1, 5 over 6. And how many of this length do I have? So I have 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? How do I know? Because of this line over here. This line tells me that all these sides are the same length. So I know that I have 4 of them. So I'm going to write 4 over here. I have 4 of them. 4 of what? Alright. 4 of 1, 5 over 6. And again, parameter means I'm going to add up. And what's remaining? I have done with this, done with this, done with this, done with this. So there's 2 more left, this one and this one. Alright, and based on these two lines over here, it shows that they are the same length. So I know there are 2 of them. I have 2 of them. And over here I have 3, 1 over 3. Okay? Now I'm just gonna add up everything in my calculator. So again, I'm going to do this step by step. I'm going to expand this first and expand this, alright? I'm just going to put this in my calculator. Right, the first one, I will get 7, 1 over 3, plus this one, I will get All right, 6, 2 over 3. And then I can just add up this. And it should give, oops, sorry, 7, 1. Right, and it should give me exactly 14 over here. All right, now that's how we calculate the parameter of the diagram.